know on EKSE we love doing entertainment, we love doing exercise, but we also love just getting some knowledge, some awareness, just finding out what's happening. And now we're getting into a little bit of a deep discussion around bipolar. Now, bipolar affects approximately 1% of South Africans, and on the 26th of May, it's National Bipolar Day. 1% sounds like, oh, that's not a lot, but remember, there's millions of South Africans. Now, today we are joined by a panel of experts to discuss bipolar disorder. In our panel, we have the wonderful Dawie, Marais, a social worker at Papillon Recovery Center. We also have Charné, Glinski, a clinical psychologist at the Papillon Recovery Center, as well as Simtandile, Mgudlwa, a social worker from Cape Mental Health. Welcome to the show, guys.
Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for being here, being part of this much-needed conversation, much-needed things that we need to talk about in the world in general. And of course, as Lauren has said, we are highlighting Bipolar Awareness Day that does occur on the 26th of May. And I want to just get straight into it and ask you guys, why do you think it's so important that we do highlight Bipolar Awareness Day?
So I think the importance of highlighting bipolar is around the importance of highlighting mental health illnesses. We don't know much about mental health illnesses, so we're doing everything in our power to make sure that people are knowledgeable and therefore they are empowered. So it is important for us to teach about bipolar and the rest of the mental health illnesses.
Yeah, definitely. And what would you say when it comes to, you know, having someone that you might know that has bipolar today? What would you say are some of the main causes that comes through when being diagnosed with bipolar? Charné?
I think in terms of causes, traditionally or historically, we've thought of things as one or the other. But bipolar is a truly good example of multiple factors in a person's biological background, genetic, environmental, and social, all combining with a particular outcome. And often, I mean, that includes from genetics to also really stressful life experiences, as well as family trauma, along those lines, anything in the psychological area as well.
So obviously, me and Kezia aren't the experts are over here. I have to ask you guys, you know, obviously the average person can't go around pointing fingers and diagnosing people, but if you've got somebody in your life and you feel like, you know, maybe there's something that you can help with, maybe they've got depression or bipolar, but again, you're not an expert, are there any particular signs that you should be looking out for to go, you know what, maybe my friend or my loved one needs some help and we need to get them to a psychologist, to a psychiatrist to see what's going on?
Okay, so bipolar is a very tricky kind of mental illness, right? So what you need to look out for, we have two main symptoms, and that is we call them your mania and your depressive episodes. We call it bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. So if you are on the mania side, you become very, your mood becomes very elevated than a normal kind of person. You don't want to sleep, and you're just active. You just more than a normal person
would
would
you explain
be.
it like excited out of nowhere?
You are excited, too excited. That is, and you make just random. Decisions that are not cautious, that might cause harm to you and the people around you. And then you have your lower sides, which as your depressive episodes, where you don't have energy, you don't want to sleep, you feel like the whole world is on your shoulders and you want to escape life. That is a suicide. You think of suicide and you don't want to get out of bed. So if you notice those things, then you know, hold up, something is not right. Then we have to pay attention to such.
And to the person that's sitting right now, sorry Charné to just cut you, I actually want to pose a question to Dawie right now, to the person that's sitting at home and they are listening to us and they're hearing that we are speaking about bipolar as well as depression. Why would they are watching and they're wanting to know, why would you say the two goes hand in hand, or that they are quite similar together when you are speaking about bipolar, or whether it is that we are speaking about depression?
I'll hand over to Charné for the particular question.
The thing is, we speak about both because the onset of bipolar episodes, the way you would define someone moving into bipolar is the identification of a manic episode. But very often that person might have had multiple and recurrent depressive episodes quite early on. And as they move into later adolescence, early adulthood, we start to note the manic episodes, which the app is a really good description, but a less common or less identified aspect of it is a very irritable, aggravated kind of aspect, not aggressive, but agitated. And so that's why we need to be speaking about both, because ultimately they do coexist, and with one existing, we have to be aware of later option of the other.
If I can just say something.
In
at
10
this stage.
seconds.
So it's so important that we have these kind of discussions, so that the layperson, inverted commas, can also be informed to what to look out for
Exactly,
in
yeah.
the family members, struggles, with that mental health. Yeah.
Definitely. And of course, Dawie and Charné, as well as
Simtandile.
Simtandile is still in the building to, of course, continue the conversation around World Bipolar Day or Bipolar Awareness Day right here on EKSE.